Good afternoon, and welcome to Media Matrix. Alongside students Michael Berry and Stephanie Petway, I'm Ryan Sanudo, and welcome to our political discussion regarding fake news. Our guest speaker, Professor Richard Falco, is with us today. Richard Falco is a professor at Sacred Heart University. He has also worked as a photographer, filmmaker, and journalist. He is also president of the Vision Project. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell us about your organization?
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. The main reason I created Vision Project was I was a journalist for 30 years working within the industry. And to my chagrin, I was becoming very disappointed how people get information, and created Vision Project as an alternative source for content that I thought was important.
All right.
Now, you were talking about how politicians, with them discrediting these media sources, how do you think that it will affect future ways how people get their news?
I think this last election is going to be a major game changer in terms of how politicians use the media and how the media has to interact with them in terms of how we go forward as a democracy. I mean, and I think people are not aware of how important the line we've crossed is. Because, again, if we continue to take on the approach that I'm only going to go to places that advocate what I want to hear, nothing is going to change. If I there's no doubt that the present administration, whenever they hear something they don't want, are going to be screaming fake news. I mean, the fact that a president of the United States could call the news media the enemy of the American people is something that I think, again, we've crossed another line. That's a serious thing.
How would you go about educating people? Because if you follow President Trump's Twitter,
well,
he thinks everything's fake.
That you bring up an important point here, and this comes back to personal responsibility. Okay, and I have some things here which went onto Facebook, which is obviously, we know how many people go to Facebook and use it, and particularly the younger generation uses it as their main source of communication.
It's a powerhouse, essentially.
Literally,
kids. Yeah.
literally. But what happened was we had a number of completely false, reports put on there. Now, what happens with Facebook? You see it, you like it. You like it, and you send it to your friends. They send it to their friends. All of a sudden, it explodes to something that was completely untrue, has now gone, what?
Yeah, unless people.
It's gone viral.
Yeah, unless people
right?
see the revised, article saying that we messed up
Right,
or whatever. Less people see
But
that.
they don't do that. And particularly if it advocates what you want to do, you're not going to go, oh, I found out they made a mistake. Okay. Here's another situation where the internet does that in itself. We had a couple of years back a reverend in Florida who had a congregation, I think, of 5 or 6 people. He decided that he was going to burn the Koran in front of his church. Now, think of how insignificant this person is. He has no following at all, right? He decides to do it, and what does he do? He puts it on the internet. Well, someone picks it up on the internet, and within hours, it goes viral. So viral that now it's worldwide, so that in the Middle East, they are burning American flags, thinking all Americans are burning the Koran. Think of how fast that happened in terms of the reaction, and how people, it's too late at that point to go this is one crazy guy with no following. Americans don't think this, and look what happened.